This series of brief videos will show you how to track services in HMIS for the various types of projects that we have here at WVCEH. After you've created or updated a client record in Community Services, also known as ServicePoint, and then enrolled your client into their project, you'll begin providing services to your client. In order to track these services you're providing, you will utilize the Service Transactions tab in ClientPoint. So you see here, we've entered our client in. We're going to be talking about ESG outreach today, or any outreach project that isn't PATH. We've entered them into our project. We've made contact. They have a start date. And now we're going to be providing services to them via the Service Transactions tab. Now, you can use this section to enter a client's need, any kind of service you provide, and refer clients to other projects who can meet their needs. But in this video, we're going to be just checking out the recording of a service transaction. For example, you as a user may identify that this client has a need of rental assistance for the client. And you can enter that under a housing-related goal in their case plan, and then you can record that service if you provide that kind of service. Now for ESG, we're going to just record a different kind of service because we might not be doing rental assistance just yet, saying this client is on the street or something like that. But we're going to be providing a different kind of service. We'll just hit Add Service here, the Add Service tile. And if the client is a member of a household, we're going to want to include all households in on this service if they all benefit from the service. Our service provider will default to whoever we're set for EDA mode for. Here we're set for ESG outreach. Our start date will be whatever the current system time is. We're in backdate mode here for 5/14/2020 when we provided this service. And our end date will default to the same as our start date, because most services you provide in 1 day's period, and then if you need to provide another service later, it's identical, you do it on another day. So for ESG outreach, we're going to look here under our service type. And let's say that we provide this client with some just housing search and information. We help them, they've been engaged with us for a little while. We're helping them find housing right now. So we can record housing search and information here. Now, based off your project type, you may see a provider-specific service, but for ESG outreach, we do not have any of those. So next, we'll just hit Save and Continue. And once we hit Save and Continue, we can record any kind of service notes. So that might pertain to this client, or not to this client, but to this client service. So took client to see unit at 123 Fake Street, or whatever the case may be. And next we come to our service cost. And this is where we can record as case managers the number of units of case management that we provide to our clients. And it really allows us to, as a case manager, go by client and tally up the time it takes to provide services for a client. And we do that in a number of units by quarters of an hour, so 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, or 1. But let's say that this client, is like going to looking at a unit with a client, it took a little while. So let's say it took 2 hours. And our unit type will always be just case management hours. We don't have to worry anything about cost per unit or total cost of unit. And we can also apply a funding source if we have a funding source to apply to this service. We can just hit Add Funding Source here below. And that just might be sorry, outreach. Or emergency, sorry, emergency solutions grant, because that's who's being might have funded this service. Can't really put a cash amount on this because there's no real like rental assistance or anything like that with it. It's just sort of a housing search. So we can put 0 in here. Now, in the event that this service was partially funded either via cash match or in-kind match, you can find a short video on how to record those when recording a service within the system as a part of this series. If there's any support documentation that you needed to attach, you can attach that here to this service. And if you want to follow up with this client or follow up on this service, you can do that here via follow-up information. Say you want to follow up with the landlord in a week or the client within a week to see if they're going to take the unit. You can just put in your follow-up date, your projected follow-up date. So like 05/21/2020. The agency or the provider and then the user who should be making the follow-up. It'll show up on their follow-up list. So when you put that in, and then you can change their need status here under need information from identified to closed. Because this client had a need of housing search, you provided that service, and now that need has been closed for now. Now, if you would provide another housing search, you would change that to closed as well because that's a new need. So then we can just hit save and exit. And if we look here under our service history, we can see that we provided housing search information on 5/14 via the BOS WVCEH ESG outreach project. So that's basically how to record a service for ESG outreach or any kind of non-path outreach project within the WVCEH service array. If you have any questions about providing services for a client and anything else related to HMIS, of course, you can always contact us at the help desk, HMIS help at WVCEH, and have a great rest of your day.